a quick recap. If you were here at the end of last year, we were awakening your reality. We did the co-ed group where we were just learning all the tools at one time and integrating them into our life, and then checking in each week what was working, what was not working. And we're going to have a little bit of that filtered in as a revamp. Now, since the beginning of the year, what we've been doing in the group is focusing on the title has been more affirming men and affirming women. We're focusing on generating, creating more love and prosperity, which means money, right? And by attacking this, we're guaranteed to hit every single limiting belief that gets in our way. And just in the process of shifting to the new focus, where we're going to now focus on bringing in our abundance, proving our prosperity, creating the side gig or the spiritually focused business that's bringing in our abundance, whether it's a giveaway or it's a job. I noticed that with the men, every single limiting belief that we addressed the last couple of months on the relationship side and their spirituality side have all resurfaced as if they never heard any stuff before. So does that sound familiar? How many times have we learned something through efforts or surrender, brought it into our lives, talked about it, wrote about it, prayed about it, slept about it, and then a few weeks, few months later, we're repeating the exact same story all over again. So we're going to do a quick check-in, but tonight we're going to talk about the limiting beliefs and how it comes from the old story
Mhm.
and how we need to pivot to the new story and renew that. And we're going to have a framework to share at the end. That'll be homework for y'all to do during the week. It's already a template in the Notion app. I just need to share it with both of y'all, right? And but it's also going to be in the presentation today. So you're going to see it here. We're going to talk about it, and you're also going to have it as homework to do, because as we move forward to create more wealth and abundance, if we don't look at the limiting beliefs, I can't have enough. There's no matter how much I have, it won't be enough. Something's wrong with me. All those hidden things are going to get in the way. Now, when we get rid of them, doesn't mean we have a simple process. No, but when we do have a failure, a
Okay.
stumble, a roadblock, an iteration, a second or third attempt, we're going to see that as opportunity, not as, oh, I failed. It's all over. This is so dumb. Right. So when we get the beliefs out, look at them, analyze, are they true? Are they not true? Replace them with our new I am statements and choose to be empowered, because we're always affirming something. We're either affirming our empowerment or disempowerment. We got to get that out front so that when we go through the hurdles of manifesting money, bringing prosperity into our life, we can see it through until it actually happens. Persist, persist. So that's a little bit about what we're going to do today. Now, quick check in. I want to start with Tracy, since you've been around the block with me a couple of times. Let's do a quick pies check in: physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. Awesome. Thank you. Mandy, physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. Awesome. Thank you. Cynthia, beautiful. Thank you. I'm glad you checked in with that, because we're always working on something. We're either there or we're wanting more. And I still have to choose. I choose to keep affirming that I'm doing it, even though I may skip a day or two, because the fact is I'm still moving forward towards it. And by constantly reminding myself of my shortcomings,
You
that's
may
not
have to
helping me.
coach me on this one.
Right? So if I'm
Physically,
gonna
I'm feeling
believe in something I can't
good.
see,
I feel
smell, or
good
taste, or
today.
touch, I have to
Intellectually,
keep
I'm
persisting in
feeling
that belief,
intrigued on
even though
what
it
we're
may
going to
not
do
actually
today.
match
And I
my
feel
reality,
accomplished
but
today.
it's gonna get me
Emotionally, I'm
there
having a
by
good day.
holding
I
that
was
until it
feeling even
actually
joyful out of the
manifests.
blue
So
listening to
I
old
love it.
John
So
Denver today.
physically
Don't
for
ask
me,
me why, but
didn't get any
just
sleep
put me
last
in a
night,
good
had a really hard
space.
time
And
sleeping. I
spiritually,
was out
I
of town over the
feel
weekend at the beach for my
grounded
friend's
today.
birthday, and I was with her daughter, and it was beautiful. But coming back was hard to adjust. So I was tossing and turning all night. Feel like I was catching up all day.
Yeah, physically, I've
Some
been
people had to
feeling really
reschedule,
good.
so
I
I got my
started,
chances to meditate and rest a little bit
exercising
throughout the day,
again,
so that
and that
all worked out,
feels good to be
right?
moving
And
my
I'm
body.
just been really excited about this
Intellectually, I
presentation
feel
tonight. So
like I
physically, I'm doing
am
really well
pushing
considering no
myself,
sleep.
doing,
So I'll catch up tonight
some speech
after this.
contests
We'll
that
go
are
right to
coming
bed.
up and
Drink my water and go right
writing
to
new
bed.
content
Now,
about, past
intellectually, no, I probably
traumas.
won't, right? I'll just keep running. I'll get excited
Emotionally,
after we do this.
I think
Intellectually
I'm
firing
doing
on all
good.
cylinders.
I
Those y'all know that I've been
my
writing more
son
content
my son is
myself,
graduating
and
high school, so
I
and
just looked
going
at
off to
20 I have
college in the
20 plus
fall, so
pieces of
it's
content now, and I only
a
have
lot
2
of
actually showing
mixed emotions,
anywhere.
right? Like
So it's been
happy
a
and also sad.
process, and
Um,
just
and
putting one
spiritually,
thing in front
feel
of
good.
the other and then realizing a week or 2 later, "Wait a
I
minute, if
definitely
I
feel
just
plugged
was
in and
posting the
connected
blogs while I
to
was working on these
my
other
God.
issues, I'd have 5 or 10 blogs
Awesome.
posted." But
Yeah.
again, I became fixated on the distractions. So for
Physically,
everybody that has seen the
feel
templates,
fine.
right? We have the life's
I
work, we
feel
have
fine.
the
Worked out
vision.
today.
We're breaking things
Just got a
down so we can
text
get
from my
that
trainer. We're
inspiration and
meeting at
focus.
8
When we have
tomorrow.
focus,
So he's working
we
with
are
me
able
and he
to
really
look
works me
away
out
from
hard
the
and has me feeling
distractions, the
sore
shiny
and good.
quarter,
So it's a
right?
love hate
The shiny
relationship.
object when we're starting a
Um,
business.
if-
The latest trend is designed to get
Intellectually,
our attention and make us
feeling
think we need that thing,
great.
right? Could it work?
Mind is
Maybe.
like sharp,
Or
has
we
been
can
sharp for the
focus on
last
our
few
vision,
days.
which is
Um,
beyond what we can
have a
possibly
lot
do
going
right
on
now,
work wise, a
and
whole lot going
have
on
that
work
as a
wise. So it
guiding
has to
light
remain
as we
sharp.
go through the mission work, the hard
Emotionally
work, the
today, I
muscling
feel
through, the trying
good.
things out,
I feel very
stumbling,
good today. And I
falling,
think that
picking
has to
ourselves back
do
up.
with
When we
my
have a
physical
vision to align to, the map on our
abilities and
GPS
feeling
will
good
take us
there.
everywhere we need to go.
And
We have to get
spirituality,
out of the damn way for it to
I
work though.
don't feel as
So
connected as I
when we're
should
doing
be.
this work, we want to
I
avoid,
started
you've
like
heard me
this
say it before,
30-day
avoid anything
challenge,
that
30
makes you
minutes
want
a
to say,
day,
I'm going to wait and see.
meditating on the word of
I
God.
will
And I think
figure
I've
that out
gotten through
after
like two
this one thing.
days. So
When we do that,
not
we are
really
introducing
as
the
plugged
wobble,
in
the
as I
crisis,
want
the
to be.
indecisiveness, when we were better off making a choice, taking action and reiterating and fixing after, right?
Mhm.
It's better for you to go ahead and post something, build something, and learn from that experience than try to read the book from cover to cover.
Mm,
You have no context. So we do better if we are aligned, take
mhm,
action, and then learn. Because if we're just learning,
mhm.
we're going to learn forever and ever and not actually do anything. Again, that's coming from our limiting beliefs. So intellectually, I'm just on fire in all 10 cylinders. Emotionally, I'm in
Gotcha.
love. I'm really unconditional these days. I just wake up every day happy. I woke up unhappy this morning, but I just made myself happy with my wake process that y'all already know. And I just held that thought. And the next thing you know, a smile came across my face. And I went, wow, I still love the fact that it just freaking works. The thoughts in my head create the reality that I'm living, breathing, smelling, tasting, touching, the whole 9 yards. Spiritually, I'm tapped in. I'm tapped in. I know when I'm in the shower, it's an illusion. I know when I wake up, it's a video game, and it's my turn to choose the save point, choose the character, and choose to be who I want to be, my ideal self, and make that right now.
Very well.
I don't need the manifestations to prove themselves to me in my 3D world. If I do that, I'm going the slow route and I'm done with that. That old story is gone. So that's my check in. Anything top of mind that's coming up for you as you've been looking at who's looked at the templates? Tracy, Cynthia, have you done any of the work on those since last week?
Wow.
Quick feedback. How was it? Yeah. Awesome. Do you see how it's like influencing what you're already doing and how it can help you make different choices moving forward? Because you already have the business started, right? It's just nice to know what you're bringing to the table. Awesome. Awesome. Tracy, how about you? I know you were looking at embedding YouTube videos that were part of your inspiration and your stuff going through I think, which were you doing? You were in the mission work or the vision? Right. Absolutely. So that's good. Yeah. So thank you. So what they're doing right now, Mandy, is I create all these templates that are a part of understanding what the core is, what the vision is, so that whether we're going into consulting, going into digital products, going into service, going into volunteer work, we actually have the background why we're doing it not just one thing, but the 3, 4, or 5, maybe even the 20 interests that bring us to the work so that we actually can bring that to the vision because we're going to change directions as we go through the iteration over and over again. But yeah, it's this comprehensive
Mhm.
process I created, and I'm already adding to it with the presentation tonight because we're going to go through the old story. So, any questions before we jump in? Can y'all see me good? Hear me good? Awesome. Trying to see if it pops up. Awesome. Can y'all see that? I would say, taking notes is always great, but I'm recording everybody. I'm gonna get a recording of all of y'all's feeds. So when we're done, if you can, try not to actually shut off the browser or app where you're at, because it's gonna upload your actual feed so that we have a really nice quality recording, number 1. Number 2, this is a PDF that you're gonna get access to 100%, and it's replicated in the Notion app template. So you're gonna have it all. But great question. I'm glad you asked that because that's why I'm using this program to be able to do all these different things instead of being a slave to Zoom where we don't get to see everything. So can you see it clearly? Beautiful. So the topic is discovering the key to unleashing your full potential. Have you ever felt like you were stuck in a rut, like you were going through the motions of life without any real sense of purpose or fulfillment? It can be all too easy to fall into the trap of limiting beliefs, patterns that hold us back from reaching our true potential. But it's time to break free from those limitations and start living the life you were meant to live. Here's how. We're going to recognize and release limiting beliefs. So here we hear a lot today, release them. But if you don't have the self-awareness to
I've
recognize
done a
when they're
little bit of it,
operating, how are
since
you
last week.
releasing them?
My
It's just
grandkids were
words
here.
at that
Oh,
point. So we're going deeper than
um,
the
I think
surface
it's
level
good. I
whenever we
need
do
to
this work,
dive in
right? So we have to
deeper, of
recognize
course.
and then
But
release
just a
them,
little. I
which
think
can be a
I
little bit painful,
did the
but we're going to do it in
life.
a safe way. And you're going to see
Um,
that here in a
it's
minute.
good. It brings things. It's enlightening. It
Limiting
gives me
beliefs are those
enlightenment for
negative
what's going
thoughts and
on with
ideas
me.
that hold us back
I
from
think
achieving
it's
our
very
goals.
good to
They may
put
be
that
beliefs
in
you
that
formed in
space.
childhood
It's
or
so funny
cultural
at work.
conditioning you
We
absorbed over
introduced
time.
something, and
Whatever their
it's like
origin, it is
Notion.
important to
And we
recognize
were on
and
a call,
release
and the
them
IT
in
guy was like,
order
"It's
to
like
move
Notion. Does anybody
forward,
ever use
right?
Notion?" I was like, "I do.
Being
I
aware
do."
of them, if you don't release them, how many
So,
times have we thought we
I
could
think
just
it's
push
wonderful.
forward, muscle through, and when the pattern repeats itself, we may not even acknowledge it until we have our next breakthrough
Right,
months or years later. And then
right,
we go,
right,
oh, I did the same thing
right,
6 months
right.
ago, a year and a half ago. It's like we can't just rush through these things. Recognize it, and actually go through the process to release it, and then you move
I
forward.
did the
You don't
I
keep beating the drum
I did the
over and over again.
personality
So,
inventory, which I laughed
y'all know I
because
love
my
Michael
after
Singer, the
going through your
author from
courses and
Untethered
working
Soul,
with you,
puts it
mine
this way:
changed. It
"The only
completely
thing that
changed.
stands
And
between you
I can
and
tell
your
you I've probably
happiness
done
is the
that
story you keep
50
telling
times
yourself
and that's never come up. But
why
I
you can't
answered
have
with
it."
all
That sound
sincerity. And when I
familiar?
got it,
How
I
many
was like,
times do we
I'm all of that.
tell
So
the
it's funny when you're
story,
like, I could see
"I
you
hope
being
this
that
time
because
it works because the
I can
last
see
10
how I've
times didn't work,"
evolved
and then we
through this
wonder why it didn't
process.
work. We're
I
still telling the
did
story.
um,
And we think we're
start
doing
going through.
saying it in a
I
positive way
See, it
by
pulled me
acknowledging that
out,
we're hopeful
like,
for
how
this
I'm
one.
thinking
If you're
about I didn't go
emphasizing
forward
on the
because I
back
needed to
end, the
understand
other ones
Notion,
didn't
and I
work,
needed to learn about it
you
and
can then
understand how the
see
forms
where
work
are
in
you
the
actually
templates, and I was, like,
persisting
called
in. And
out.
the way
I
you
did that.
persist, that's
So
what's
to
gonna
do
manifest, not
something,
just the one-off
I
when you
do
feel
that
good for
sometimes.
one day. You
Like,
have to
I
be
wanna do it
consistent.
perfectly, so
So
instead
take
of
some time to
moving,
reflect on your
I'm just,
beliefs
like,
and
let
identify
me
any
evaluate it.
that may
So
be limiting
I'm
you.
gonna do more.
Write them
I
down
did put
and
some
then
of the
challenge them.
links in. I don't
Are
think
they
I did
really
them
true?
exactly right, but there were things
Are
I
they
wanted to kinda come
serving
back
you,
to, just positive
right?
mental health
If they're not
stuff
serving
that
you,
just kinda keeps me
then let them go.
focused. And I've been
So then we
doing
wanna
the
visualize
meditations, and
your
that's
ideal
helped me a
reality. And
lot.
again, we're gonna go through this brief, and then we're gonna go through the actual framework, which is gonna be actual homework. So just bear with me. We're gonna visualize your ideal reality. So we know what you don't want, what you're already going through. We have to visualize the ideal. What does that mean? It's not the reality you're in right now. We're not emphasizing the lack of time, lack of funds, lack of energy, lack of health. We're focusing and creating and visualizing all the details
Mm.
for what the ideal version of reality looks like. And many of us have experienced where we could probably spend 3 months working on just this, and you might resist that over and over again, not willing to dream because you don't wanna get your hopes up, right? How many times have we done that, right? Nobody here
Yeah.
is under
I've done
30, so we've all done it over and over again. Visualization is a powerful tool for manifesting what we want in life. Spend some time each day visualizing yourself living your ideal reality. I'm going to pause there, right? Visualize it every single day. This is not just on Sunday, not once or twice a week, not on only this call, right? Because you can't persist in the
Will this be
feeling state of having
recorded so we can
something
go
if you're
back and read
not
it, or
doing it
should I be
every single
taking
day.
notes?
You
That's
go to
what
the
I was
gym
gonna
once a
ask you.
month, we're not going to see results. You go twice a week, 3 times a week or more, at whatever pace, you're going to see results because it's consistent. Not so much the effort, but the consistency, right? So you want to close your eyes and you imagine what it would look like. This sounds familiar for my language if y'all been with me before, right? What does it actually look like and feel like to be living the life of your
Okay.
dreams? It's not a respectful relationship. It's not enough money to go where you want. It's we got to get specific. And a lot of times that's when we notice a resistance piece. We notice a limiting belief when I refuse to say, by this time, by this date, I have this much money in my bank account. That is
Yes.
scary. And we have to cross that bridge, or else we won't break through and be consistent and move past it. We'll have flare ups, right? Moments, and we'll go right back asleep. So see yourself surrounded by the people you love. This is a specific one, right? They don't usually teach this stuff. See people that you are wanting to be there with you, your children, your partner, someone you respect. See them in the scene. It's not just you on a random beach by yourself, potentially at sunset. That's not as powerful as you hearing your partner say, I am so proud of you. And you hearing it in your inner ear and you know they're on your right side. That's detail that is part of creating your reality. That's manifestation. So don't shy away from this stuff, which is why we're going to write these things down. Because if you're in your head, you're going to stop at a certain level and
Mhm.
hold space there. So we have to write these things down. So, as Neville Goddard, author of The Power of Awareness, observed, your imagination is your creative power. You can create the reality you desire. And again, he's one of the most popular ones for it, specifically the law of assumption, which y'all know I teach y'all a little bit more than law of attraction, but that's in here too. We also want to use affirmations and I am statements because we're always affirming. We're affirming our empowerment or disempowerment. So everything has an I am in there somewhere as you tell your story or relive your story in your head. Affirmations are positive statements that help to reprogram your mind and reinforce positive beliefs. Start each day by saying affirmations that support your vision and your ideal reality. You all already know the mirror is a great place to do it. Tracy knows pulling her phone up on her camera and recording her affirmations to herself takes to a whole new level. Then she can watch that anytime she needs to. Tracy? Yeah. Use I am statements such as I am successful, I am loved, I am fulfilled. Start with basic ones that make them unique. And then again, reiterate them because if you use them every single day, eventually you're going to have 15 to 20 that are truly unique to you and actually a part of the mission to create your abundance through a spiritual business or entrepreneurship, right? When you're doing these techniques, just like Tracy found her personality type changed. When you do the work, we were going to
Right.
need to look at the vision every couple of months because your desires are going to change if you're actually moving forward. And if we're seeing things from the mundane parts of reality, we're going to think that no, you can't change your mind. And you're actually slowing the process down when you use that part of your brain. We want to let go and manifest faster. The faster we let go, the faster we allow. As Abraham Hicks says from Ask and It Is Given, your work is to create the feeling in yourself even before you have the evidence of it, which is again, even people I've worked with for a long time, when they deal with a new thing, a new trigger, a new wobble, a new process, they will forget this and they will suddenly start saying, I'm going to wait and see. We have a very strong habit of going, I don't know what I want, so I'm gonna wait until I experience pain to decide what I want. And then you get what you want and you realize, "Oh, I coulda wanted more?" Yeah. You don't need the pain. It just helps you fine tune it. Then you take action to create real change.
Mm.
All the visualization and positive thinking in the world won't make a difference if you don't take action. Identify the steps you need to take to create the change you want to see in your life. Break those down into smaller, actionable goals that you can work on every day. Hence the templates for all the work so we can get it out of your head and not on 10 different notebooks, right? We all have that issue, right? I got all these notebooks all over the place and they just spread all around. I'm like, where is that content? Right? Identify limiting beliefs and replace them with positive ones. Visualize again your ideal reality every day. Use affirmations and I am statements to reprogram your mind. Take steps towards your daily goal. As you take action and create positive change in your life, don't be afraid to share your story with others. Just as you are influenced by limiting beliefs and patterns, your positive transformation may inspire others to do the same. Who here has already seen someone in your life reflect back to you the change? I know Tracy. Who else? Not yet. You have because people are testing. People are coming to you and saying they're trying to test you. Your daughter, remember that conversation? That's a part of it, right? If you weren't complaining and triggered and all that stuff around it, she wouldn't have been pointing out that you should be upset about it.
Mm.
So when we start doing this work, people will react when we don't behave the way they used to see us behave, even though it's positive. Their reaction, we want to love them anyway because they just don't know and they want what you got. So there's proof everywhere. Okay. In conclusion, Michael Singer reminds us the degree to which you can free yourself from the conceptual framework of your limitations, you are no longer limited. You have to do the work, not our exes, not our soon to be exes, not our partners, not the jobs, not the clients. I have to do that work. Not until a certain point, I have to always do that work. The moment I stop thinking my work is my work, then that's a new limiting belief. It's gonna slow me down. So, free yourself from those limiting beliefs and patterns, create your ideal reality, and live the life you are meant to live. Now, the assignment. Questions. How's this landing on you? Have you heard this before for the millionth time? And is this the last time? What are we thinking? Let's do a popcorn. Cynthia, Mandy, Tracy. This is it.
Mhm.
This is the one. Awesome. Mandy, how about you? How you feeling with all this? Good. Tracy? Yeah, you did. Yeah, and that's why we're focused on that vision so you can keep it doing, right? Yeah, if you have the vision, when you go through these periods, when you come back to do the work, you can ramp up really quickly, and you might see the
Mm.
downtime as all beneficial because you take a break for on purpose.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, good, and in this process we're doing now,
Yes.
it'll be easier for you because 'cause we're using the app, we're documenting the process, you're gonna have to go back into it. You're gonna catch yourself more now than ever, and that's when you ramp up faster, so thank you for sharing that. Awesome. Please. Awesome. Yeah, nice. I invite because 'cause you're already doing that, so I invite you as you get this process started, start creating your own that are unique to you, and then you can go into your phone and set silent alarms and title the alarm, right? I am and you once you know exactly what you're looking for, your affirmations become more mantras because they're unique to you in the process, and you can design your alarms to go off all day long with little triggers for you. Make them silent, right? Because you can do that. You just put no sound notification. It's buzzing. You're in a conversation. You look at your phone and you say, "I'm amazing, awesome." Use that. Take a hit, right? Take that 10 seconds. And you're like, That's mindfulness. Making the time, because we don't always have 2 hours in the morning, do we? No, but we have 10 seconds, what's that? Just go onto the alarm app. Mhm. If you go into your alarm app and you just turn on what time you want it and go into make where you choose the alarm sound, you can actually choose no sound, and it'll vibrate only. And then you can but so that you can title the alarm, like, "Good morning, wake up, I'm awake," was one that we've done before where yeah, and that way it flashes on your screen, it has a subliminal effect too, because you may not be able to stop right then and there in a conversation, but it's about that immersion, creating that life by consistency and persistence. So I'm glad we're talking about that. Thank you, Cynthia, for bringing up the app and how we can go even further. Awesome. So let's jump into the assignment because
Mhm.
this is the part that's going to be in the template for you to go through. And again, when you do the work again, you just change the topic: health, wealth, relationship, duplicate the questions, start all over again, right? The investment in yourself is going to pay off in energy and belief. So this is the work you want to be up at night scrolling through, not on other apps while you're trying to go to sleep. This one is your self workout, right? So reveal and rewrite your life story, a framework for change. Again, are you tired of living the same old story in your life? Relationships, money, or health? See, we're getting a little bit of a menu now. Pick one. Pick one or something different. Have you noticed that certain patterns keep repeating themselves, holding you back from achieving true happiness and fulfillment?
Not yet for me.
It's time to bring light and self
Yeah,
awareness to
not
those
yet.
limiting beliefs and patterns by writing them down and gaining clarity about their impact on your life, right? We've all
Wait.
experienced
Okay.
the
Okay.
benefit of
Right.
sharing things with individuals and groups a couple of times. This is the next level. If you've already got a pattern that's been repeating
Right.
itself,
Right.
I don't need to share it with anybody anymore. It's time for me to do that mental work to get it out of my
Mm,
head and not throw it away unconsciously and process it. So we're going to write things
mm,
down in the app or put them
right.
down somewhere else. I love writing it on paper and then transferring it to the app because then it gets a second iteration, right? The second pass is 50% of it's different and better. So I get even deeper with it. So we can use whatever you need. We want to put it in the app so we don't lose the work in the future. Okay. So follow these steps to create a powerful shift in your perspective. So we're going to do the old story and then we're going to do the new story. Here we go. Write down your old story. You can be brief or not, right? It's up to you. Instead of replaying that tape in your head over and over again, write down the story that has held you back for so long. I'm trying is also a story as we're on this journey. When you're awake, the language still changes, but we still tend to use some other version of the language. It still is holding us back from the next level. So it's okay
This
and
is
great to
the last
identify.
story.
I know
This
I'm
is
using the word try. Okay, now I can work on
it.
that. That awareness is beneficial for you. Be honest and detailed about how this
I feel
narrative
good. I feel
has
excited.
manifested itself in your life, in your relationships, finances, or health.
I
How
feel
a
good about
gentleman
it.
that
I'm just,
realizes
I
that
think I had set
he's
a lot
about
of
to
goals
lose his
initially and
third
started reaching
job
them.
in the
And then
education
I hit a
system.
pause
Now he
where I really like,
realizes
okay, really,
if
what
it's the
do I
third
want
time, his
next?
career is probably
It
over.
Um,
The other
because
2
there've been
times, he
places where I'm
still
just
thought it
trying
was
to
their
get
fault,
through,
and he was
and
justified. He
I
had
like
facts,
the
right? He had
creating
the
in the
data.
app to kind of see,
Everyone his
okay,
whole
what's
life agree
next?
with
Like,
him.
what's
It
my
was their
vision? Like, I
fault.
hit some really high
Now he's on a
goals that
spiritual
were
journey,
important to me,
right?
like that I
Those
never
facts
thought
don't
I
fucking
could
matter.
reach. And
They don't.
so now what? And I
He
like the vision
now
of it. And
realizes that
so
even though he
I
can't
was
understand it,
laughing
he
as you were
must be
going through.
creating it. So
Yes,
it's time to change how he reacts, what the voices are saying in his head, and how he's viewing the world. So we want to move past these things.
yes.
And you're the only one that's going to know where to start first, right? The
The
biggest one's going to be the one
affirmation
that gets in
piece,
the way as you try to manifest more money
the
to get back on
affirmation
track.
piece, one of the things that I sandbag myself
Identify your
and
limiting
I'll be like,
beliefs
well, I'm
right.
really
and
No.
trying.
assumptions,
But I'm
right?
doing.
I don't have enough
When
time.
you were saying
I don't have
say it
enough
in your
money.
mind,
I've
I'll say,
done
"Well, I've
this.
been
I'm
really
too
trying."
old,
And I mean, I can make a
right?
list of
I
all
don't
the
know
things
enough
I'm
about this topic.
doing, and
Why am
I
I
don't
so
know if
driven to do
that's like
it?
my default out. Like, what
That's
if I don't do
also
it right?
about the
So
assumptions. I'm
that's really
assuming that I
resonated
have to
with
have a
me is
degree in
I
this field.
am,
I'm assuming that I have to
what am I
wait a
doing?
year
There's
and a
lots
half.
of
I have to
things
wait
that
till I
I've been doing
retire.
to work on
I'm
financial,
assuming, I'm
spiritual,
assuming. I'm
mental,
gonna wait and see
physical,
is what it
instead of
also
saying, well, I'm
looks like,
trying. what am I
right? I'm
doing?
gonna wait
So
until
I like
I
the
get some
affirmation piece, and I'm
inspiration,
gonna work on that
realize
more.
and forgetting that I'm actually the inspirer. What I want is what God wants, right? Make a choice, change your mind. That's the power we have. That's free will. Amen. Okay? That's number 1.
Mhm.
Reflect on the beliefs and assumptions that you have about yourself and
Can I
others
share
that have
something with
contributed to your old story,
um,
right? We can think about
this app on my
marriages and
phone, it's
relationships and
called I
bosses,
Am,
the whole 9 yards.
and it, like, sends me stuff. I think I have it
Write
set
these
for it
down.
to send
Don't
me
just go
stuff,
into
like, every
la la land
30
and fantasize
minutes.
about it.
It just pop
Write it
like, I
down.
just it says, "I
Move
am
forward
grateful
faster,
for my
no
life,
matter how
even when
difficult it
things
may
are
be to
hard, because
confront
it's
them.
given me so many opportunities for growth and
Now,
change."
it's written
So
down. In
it
the
just
app,
kicks
it's
out
bullet
to
points,
me
so you're probably not gonna
throughout
go
the
I
on and
day.
on. That's
So
a
I
good
that's
have
thing.
one.
that app too.
Now
Oh,
Yeah,
that
I
we can see
love
the
it.
mountain, we gotta name the
d
mountain.
and
Name
sometimes it
that
uses your
pattern,
name, right?
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Pattern
Yeah.
is
Name it.
also another word for
Mhm.
story. So name that story. It's my loser story. It's my broke dad, my broke non-custodial
Mhm.
parent story,
Mhm.
right? It's the I have to prove myself over and over again because I never really deserved in the first place. So I'm never gonna be done proving myself. Yeah, that
Mhm.
pattern. Name it, right? It actually has less power when you can name it because you can take it, you can pull it out of your head, you can put it down and look at it and go, "What's that about?" Right? Recognize the name and name the pattern that has emerged from your old story. And what we also find is that the story is not as bad when you do
Mhm.
this work. When you let it run tape, the story has 10, 15, 20 different reasons that
Or
you could never have won in the first place. When you actually write them down, it's 1 or 2 or 3, and you can actually bring it down to 1 usually, right? Because
but
So how are
we're
you doing that?
removing
Explain that to me.
the baggage, just making it
How
stronger
are
than it
you doing
actually
that on
is.
your phone? Are you
By
doing
identifying
it
this
under,
pattern,
like,
you have a clearer
an
understanding of
alarm,
how
or
it has shaped your life.
okay. Huh,
Document your feelings and worldview, right? Especially as you're working on relationships, especially as you're working on your new career, especially as you're working on just
okay, I can do
making
that.
more doing what you're doing.
Mhm.
If you're gonna go in the
Okay,
nonprofit
but
sector, you definitely wanna do this work.
okay.
You're gonna be challenged, you're gonna be triggered. How are you
I didn't
feeling
know
with
that.
this old
Okay.
pattern that you've named? How do you feel about your worldview because of it? Right? There's self-talk and there's worldview. Describe how this old story has made you feel and how it has influenced your worldview. Acknowledge the emotions, right? We want to honor them. We can't bury them. The emotions that you've experienced as a result of these limiting beliefs and patterns. Then you want to ask yourself critical questions. Were you right? Who can think of a story real quick? What was a pattern that you looked at, can look at and go, what is that right? So I'm glad you brought that up because that's why I create these templates. Before we were doing the classes, I had the homework, we had PDFs, but there wasn't really a place to do all the work except in
Right.
an email or on your notepad. And what I found out happened is that we spent more time thinking about these questions versus actually answering them and writing them down. When we write them down, when we type them, and again, you've seen the app, it's more about the bullet point
Mhm.
anyway. It's going to be short, it's brief, right? You're already, that action makes you the witness, not the actor or the performer. When we're looking at the past, when we're looking at negative, we can be the witness to stay safe and be that loving person that we know who we are. And then look at that, right? Versus when we do the forward stuff, we're all in it. We're not witnessing, right? We're living it and breathing it. That's different. But so you're examining the question, is that right? Am I not lovable? Right? And that may be happening over and over again because something is still missing. We need to move forward and apply the awareness somewhere so you can move forward and keep ascending. So thank you for sharing that. Were you right? Consider whether your beliefs and assumptions were accurate or simply a product of fear or other negative emotions. So, how's it served you? I think you already shared how it served you, right? Mandy, Cynthia, how has having a story that may not be true served you? Yeah, keeps you small. Yep. And we are unlimited. Absolutely. So you want to reflect on how living this old story has affected your life, both positively and negatively, right? Because everything was about survival. It did serve a purpose, right? So by honoring these things, we stop thinking, oh my God, this is awful. We didn't like it, right? You didn't like it. That's a good thing. That's why you're looking at something else now, right? Take the weight off of these things so that they don't become the, oh, it was, we do the trauma work. And at some point we stop saying we have trauma, but that is an individual experience, right? Only you know when it's time to drop that language. In the beginning, you got to use it to get out of that hell. At some point, we got to let it go. So, are you going to stop working so hard on this and let it go? That's another big question, right? Are you ready to stop working on it? Are you ready to stop affirming you have a problem? Or affirming you have a pattern, right? Can we just
Mhm.
let it go? Stop validating it. Honestly assess whether you're prepared to move on and embrace a new empowering narrative. By following this framework, you bring light, self awareness, and clarity to your old story, allowing you to break free from limiting beliefs and patterns. Embrace this process with an
Mm.
emotional and persuasive writing style, right? We want to get involved with it. Make your transformation even more powerful. It's time to rewrite your life story and start living the life you deserve. And then we're going to go quickly through this so we don't run out of time. Right now, we're into again, we don't skip to the new story if you
Mm.
haven't unpacked the old story. When we do that, if we skip a step, that also contributes to the pattern returning because we're not aware of our hangup. We're not aware of our limiting belief. We're not aware the name changed of that pattern. So that's why we do a little bit of that work from a safe place, like we were talking about with Tracy. And then we go all in on this one. And now we can keep that focus because we've already done the work. So now you've confronted and
Mhm.
acknowledged your old story. It's time to rewrite your narrative, embrace a new, empowering version of yourself. This new story will set you on a path to achieving the happiness, fulfillment, and success that you deserve. Follow these steps. Okay, very similar, right? Write down your new story. We already know, got to be concrete. Use as many of the 5 senses as possible because that's how we perceive reality. That's how we perceive this illusion as real. You gotta smell it, taste it, touch it, all everything. See your partner on your right-hand side, see them, they're talking to you. It becomes real when you do this work, which is why you wanna write it down because in your head, you might just fantasize about it and it becomes wishful thinking. And that may feel good, but we're not gonna have that explosive creation power if we stick through and do the hard work, which is writing this down and reiterating and asking ourselves, "Is this what I want? Could I want something more? Could I change my mind in 2 weeks? I'm giving myself permission to go further." And you go back and do that work. Write down the new story. Envision the life you want to live and describe it in detail. Be specific about how your relationships, finances, and health and overall well-being will improve as you embrace this new narrative. So, identify your empowering beliefs. Again, it's opposite of what we did before. So if your disempowering belief was, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, whatever your narrative has been, you got to flip it to the exact opposite or whatever is actually manifesting attached to your new vision, right? For me to have this vision of having all this abundance, I need to see myself as organized. That's a simple thing. Someone may say that's not powerful enough. For me to be organized, that's extremely powerful in my life, in my experience. Right? Because a limiting belief that I'm not smart enough, my brain doesn't work because people have told me that over my lifetime that have been diagnosing me, that gets in the way, right? I don't tell that story outside of my clients because no one else needs to know, and that's another affirmation, right? Now I'm writing better than ever before because 'cause I'm just doing it and forgetting the fact that I've been told I can't. So you have to choose a new empowering belief because again, you can't suppress a thought, you can't suppress a belief either. You can replace them. Suppressing causes whole other problems, right? Our Reiki people on the call know that with them, right? That's a whole other problem that it manifests in your body. So reflect on the positive beliefs and assumptions about yourself, right? Tracy, people miss you, right? From our other groups. They're like, I miss Tracy, right? So of course you're lovable, right? You know
One
the
of
work
the
is on
ones, and
you.
I'm
So
thinking a
you
lot
replace
about
those
what you were saying.
beliefs
Like, I really
with
don't.
positive beliefs and
I want to
assumptions about
write down
yourself and
some of my
others,
patterns, but I
and
don't
that
want to
will
delve
support
deep.
your
Like,
new
I don't want to go
story,
there
right?
anymore.
Write these down,
So I'm trying
focusing
to
on their
figure out how to
power to
address it
transform
without
your life.
deep diving. But
Now,
that
name the
I'm
new
not
pattern.
lovable, and that
Successful,
comes from my
abundant,
past, and that was,
happy,
when we first started,
right? You hear me say,
that
I'm
was a
always saying
really
I'm
deep,
sacred.
deep root that
Totally,
I said no
right? I'm
matter how many
sacred.
times,
I'm
how many people
worthy.
loved me, I
That's a new
believed I was
pattern.
unloved because
I've been
of
saying for 2
my
years.
roots and my
It's still a new
history,
pattern
and
for when
so
I compare to my whole life.
evaluating that and
The pattern was
continuing to
something else
confront
before,
myself with
right?
that really
We're
changed
seeing how
it,
that
and
self-speech
today,
manifests in our
I
life.
feel like that I
Recognize and name the
changed
new pattern
that
that will
story, and I do
emerge
feel
from your
lovable, and
revised story.
that's
By
where I'm
identifying
starting to
this
stand up
pattern,
for
you've gained a
myself, I'm
clear
advocating for
understanding
myself, and
of
it's
how
a
it will
shift.
shape your life
Um,
moving forward.
so yeah, but I did have to
Document
examine it.
your feeling
I
and
think that
renewed
whole I don't wanna
worldview,
go too deep
right?
and
You
let
get
it
it. It's exactly
play in my
opposite
head,
of
those
the
old tapes,
last
so I'm trying to
framework,
figure that out.
right? If you don't document it, you're gonna decide on a whim different things, and you won't make a choice to change. You're gonna be you're gonna act by default. You're gonna keep
Mhm.
waiting and seeing, and it'll sneak in. So you wanna document how you feel in your new empowerment, your new pattern, your new
Mhm.
story,
Right.
and also how the world reacts to you. Get rid of the camera right now. Yeah. Yeah, you have. It does because they see you do the
Mm.
work, and they're like, "What are you doing?"
Right.
They notice it. Stacy texted me the other day. She misses seeing you. She's taking a social media break. We're not working together. Yeah, she's taking a break from social
Mhm.
media, which is probably good because she was on it a lot. But she said she missed seeing your stuff because she watched your feed all the time. Acknowledge the positive emotions you'll experience as a result of embracing these empowering beliefs and patterns. And now, another level of ask yourself critical questions. We're almost done.
Right.
Are you
Okay.
committed? That Bob Proctor says the terror barrier, right? Are you committed? Are you in or are you out? It might be scary. Good. That's an illusion we can work with. If we just say we're scared, we don't do anything at
Mhm.
all, we can't make any change, right? Acknowledge the emotion and
Keeps
Well,
me
look at
s
that and ask this question,
it
is
keeps
it
me small.
real? Are you committed or not?
Yep,
Consider whether you
yep.
are truly
Keeps you
dedicated to
small,
embracing these new beliefs and assumptions in
keeps you
order to
pressed
transform your
down.
life.
I mean, just like if you
Now,
keep
how will this new
listening to it, it
story
just keeps
serve you?
pressing you down, pressing you down, pressing you down.
We know how it
Mhm.
served us, the old story. We told all our friends and family what it did to us. We told them how we struggled, how we failed, how it wasn't our fault, or it was our fault. And we're saying we had that shame stick. We're beating ourselves up, right? So now put the engine on the other track too. How will this new story serve you? You want to lean in and reach for your empowerment. Assume it. Reflect on the positive impact this new narrative will have on your life, relationships, finances, and health. And are you ready to embrace your new story and move forward? Right? Is this still, when you're doing the homework, does this still trigger the I'll do it after? I'll do it after this. I'll do it after that. You want to notice these things because if you don't notice them, you won't know to get rid of it. Right. So notice as you do the work, where do you start daydreaming? Is it this one or somewhere else? Where do you get distracted? Where do you suddenly need a pee break and then forget you're working on this? Right. Just be aware and have compassion when that happens. Honestly assess whether
Mm.
you are prepared to let go of your old story and fully commit to living this new empowering narrative. So, by following this framework, you create a powerful new story that will guide you towards a life of happiness, fulfillment, and success. Use an emotional writing style to make your transformation even more compelling. Embrace your new story and start living the life you're meant to live. So, that's it for the presentation. So, if you have to go, do a checkout, but feedback, what's standing out for you the most? What's resonating? What's been what's the aha out of
Yeah,
tonight? Because I'm
yeah.
sure that we've all heard this before, right? I'm not teaching anything new. So what is standing out for you tonight? Yes. I love that because you've been with it for a while. I don't want it to be dogma. It's not Anthony's dogma, right? It's neutral. You learn it in one area. My niche is working most in the divorce space. So you'll learn it there. And then the very next 2 or 3 things that come up is I hear the same thing. I'm like, wait a minute. You had the same thing going on before. What did you learn? Great. Now we apply this exactly the same way to this. And we go, holy shit. Yeah. 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 Thank you for sharing that. And again, by having it on our phone, it gives us a certain level of safety, right? We're trying to disconnect from the other
Mhm.
drains on our phone, but also doing this, it gives us the access to, I am thinking about my old story. Oh, I just realized this. Okay, pop, boom, type it in, 3 sentences, go back to your day, go back later. That's moving things forward and not just letting it spin over and over again. So thank you, Tracy. Yeah. You just notate what's inspiring you. Yeah. If you notate the specific things, then you start noticing more of it, right? Cynthia's using using the Notion app. Now people are talking about a Notion-like app. There's no the synchronicity just happens, right? When you start doing your work, you start seeing manifestations of the proof you're doing your work around you. People react to you, and they don't even know what you're doing. Thank you so much. Mandy, Cynthia, any feedback? How this landed on you? Sure.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes, the same yeah, if you already have the
Mhm.
if you already have an account, just download the app and then sign up with the same information, and that way you can do on the fly bullet points, and especially when you do the other stuff, the other templates, after we break free of some of the things that are slowing us down, like this one. Yeah, when you start creating content for the business, you wanna have that on your phone so you can write down some ideas and come back to it later. Awesome.
Mhm.
Good. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. Yeah, so no
Mhm.
Cynthia was a Deanna referral. Nice, yeah. So, Mandy, feedback, how does it land on you? I know you do this all the time too, so yeah. I would say that makes remember we talked briefly today, and you were talking about some things, and the what you're talking about was also showing up in your speech,
Yeah.
right? Even though it's very real, and those are things, right? There's data, you're not making it up. Right? And yet, when we realize doing this work that we're the ones creating that real
Mhm.
thing that's standing in our way, we have to then notice it more, right? We notice and choose, notice and choose. So, yeah, the roles that we play do show up because you're playing a role in your family, you play a role in your job, you play a role in your business, right? And for everybody who's doing all 3 or 4, right? Hats. Right? So, don't be the performer, be the director, and it gives us more empowerment because then we can choose something different. We can choose this next chapter of our life, the next business, the next iteration.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter how old we are. This is gonna be even better than before because 'cause we're cutting loose. We are unlimited. We're sacred. So, thank you so much. Any last minute feedbacks or questions? Because the homework is gonna be to do the process in the app, and I'll send you the template, okay? So, can you see that doing this work is gonna support moving forward on the vision, the life's work, creating your business ideas? Yeah, because with the resistance, you're gonna go, "I can't do it, but I wanna do something." We have to get this out in front and go, "Oh, I've been saying this stupid story for 30 years, and I now realize it hasn't been
I think
true
it's
for
good to be able
15,
to go
for
back
10,
to
for
that.
5, and
On days
I
where you
needed to
doubt
spend
it,
an
on
hour
days
doing
when you're having
this
hard days, I
to
can go
realize I'm
back
still telling a
to the
story that I've already
videos
let
that
go of
Anthony made me
because of
make.
habit. How
That was like
mundane
a hang up for
is
me, but
that?
he's like, "Get in front of your camera
And
and
we do
talk
it.
to
I do
yourself."
it.
But
I'm
I can
still
literally
dealing with
go
it.
back
That's why
and
we're
see
doing
it,
this.
right?
So
Um,
awesome.
but it makes a difference to be able
Awesome. Let's
to
do a
catch
checkout then.
those days, and
We'll
so
start with a
not just
checkout for you.
documenting on paper, but
The
I
number
think
one
just
takeaway and
videoing it. And
what you
I've
can do this week
actually
with it.
put stuff out on Facebook after you
Beautiful.
made
So
me
we
do
will
it a
have
few
it.
times,
I'm hearing
but
you say you'll
it
have
it
that
impacts
template
people.
done before
Mhm.
next week. Is that yes or no?
Mhm.
Just that one template. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, I'm glad to know that
Go
because
ahead.
I wondered where she went.
Close it. Shut it down, but leave it open. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's fine.
Mm.
Mandy, Cynthia, check out. Yeah, I'll do it tonight because I already created it. Yeah. I created a presentation after I already created the template, and I did the same thing. I wrote the whole thing out on paper and then transferred it and then wordsmithed it after that, and I'm like, "That is so beneficial for me." And I just throw those pieces of paper away, and then the next thing you know, it gets longer and more diverse, and then I'm just going adding more and more, and it all flows from the same process. Yeah, I love writing it down first and then transferring it. Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. Yep, we're never done. We're never done. You wanna be happy, means you keep doing it because you let go whatever that thought making you unhappy, gotta let that one go. Get the juice out of it, get the awareness, pivot, right? I'm looking at something that's not true, therefore I'm feeling pain, or else it wouldn't be possible, and I can let that go. We can still dump somebody, we can still leave a job, right? But we wanna do it from that place of, "I am perfect and whole already. This just showed me that I was thinking about something different," right? And then it's still worth it. Beautiful. Mandy, you're good. What I love what you said, Mandy, you do that on the rolls, right? And then you're naturally gonna end up shifting to the other things that we were talking about, right? Because the one that's the anchor for this pattern is the family and the roles in the family. And, right, how many of those beliefs that tapes in your head, how many of them are even true? Or how many of them are at the same level of intensity, even though they may be true? Is it 10% or 80% less? Right? When you do the work, then it helps you realize, am I now stifled by it? Right? Or can you do the work and be empowered anyway because you realize you can't fail? And also, this process that we're going through in the groups is not necessarily about leaving one thing behind to be all in. Because that's the burn the boats mentality does work for some people, not for people who are self-sabotagers and have a limiting belief that says, "Yeah, I'll burn the boats, and yeah, I am on the street now." So one size doesn't fit all, right? It's a nuanced process. What could you find by doing some of this work to just bring in more money without changing anything else, right? Because there's so much out there now.
I like the
Right? So you can
layers. I mean,
build the
like,
opportunity
I
to how great is that when
see
somebody
that,
is
like,
able to
I can
pivot to an
rewrite my
entrepreneur
story and see how it's
lifestyle and
impacting
job,
me.
but they've
You know, when
already
you're
been
saying maybe
replaced
you're
their
having some
income last
resistance,
year
right?
because they
And
start
so
off with
sometimes,
something that gave
you
them
know, it's like
$100 a
getting
month,
a car,
then
you
it
know,
went to
getting
$500 a
something
month,
up,
then it went to a
then you
couple of
can go
grand
further. And
because
so I'm
they
thinking,
took their time
okay, why have I resisted
and they were
physical
dealing
health?
with the
You know, what's
beliefs
my
and then letting that
limitations
go and,
there?
"Oh, that didn't
And
work.
what are the
I lost
barriers?
$500.
Okay,
Great.
then I
What can I
work
do
on
now?"
that.
And you
Or why have I
learn and
resisted
learn versus,
finances? And I work
"I
on
gotta
that. Some of
retire
them I
or
may
leave my
do
job in 6 months. I
simultaneously,
have to
but
do
I
it
like the
now."
idea that I can get
Pressure, limiting belief.
motivated and
So,
feel
I'm
more
glad you're here.
empowered. You
I'm
know,
glad we
it's
audited
not
it tonight.
something that I have to change my whole story all
Awesome.
about me all at once.
Last
I
words?
can see where the things that are really,
Yes, you are.
you know, there are
We're
some
all
things that are
sacred. You're
probably
sacred,
really
you're worthy,
entrenched.
and you're
That's just going to
allowed.
take a little bit of deeper work, but there's lots of areas
Amen.
that I can make
Amen.
some
Thank you so
fast
much, ladies, for
movements
being
in.
here.
And I've
I will
been
be
able
emailing
to
out
do that
the
from some of the
files
stuff you're saying. So
and
I'm
sending out
seeing you could
uploading
do
this to
this
a membership site
multiple
in the next couple of
ways.
days.
You
So,
know, so
yeah,
it's still the
be
same
looking for your
thing,
email.
but I tell myself stories in many
No,
different facets of my life. That's kind of what
I'm either going to
I've been
create a
thinking about
membership
tonight.
site on my website or create a list on my YouTube channel just for us. So that
Right.
we're not
Right.
sending the file back and forth like this video,
Mhm.
right? You're gonna get the file itself for the PDF to go along with everything else, but this file, to send it via email will be a nuisance for everybody, and we don't really get to have access to it, but if I can upload it somewhere, then we have access to it from the internet. That's what I'm working on this week. So
Well, so for me,
the
like,
interwebs. Thank you so
you
much,
taught me
ladies.
that
So
doing
grateful
the
for both of
morning
you being
rituals,
here.
right? And then
Cynthia,
to get my mind
text me
settled,
so
but
we can
then
figure out our
the
next
sacred,
appointment because we
because
shifted
if
yours
I
for the
have
week. So
sacred
text me
places,
if we're
I
changing
have
it. And
safety.
Mandy, look forward to
It's
talking to you soon.
easier for me then to have the ability to go
Okay.
into those old places. And then, you know, one of the
Bye,
things that you
ladies.
told
Have a
me that
wonderful
really
night.
worked well for
Cheers.
me is not to tell the
So
stories
yeah,
over and
leave
over.
yours
So
when
I'm
you
trying
exit
to
out,
tell
just leave it
myself,
the
okay, you
browser
have to
open.
tell the
Just leave it
story to
open.
yourself. But as I was
Yeah,
thinking,
just
this
leave it
causes
open.
me anxiety. I'm
Yeah, I
having
hear
this in
you.
my head. I'm thinking, then that's where there's
Yeah,
Anthony
you're good.
because he's
Yeah.
walked
Thank you.
beside me enough to challenge or push the door